viewers, welcome back. And we are continuing our conversation with Raj, and we will continue our conversation on operations technology, keeping operations safe, available, and secure. And in the previous episode, Raj actually set the context in terms of what is operations technology and what is IT, or the traditional IT, and how it intersects with the network. And today we're going to focus specifically only on current threat landscape. The threat landscape targeting the operations technology. Raj, thank you for making time and being back again. So I'd like you to, briefly tell the audience what are the threats that target the operations technology. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you very much, Sujit. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to continue this exciting the OT security technologies discussion. So when it comes to operational security threat landscape, so this last episode that we discussed, there is an integrations coming up, and there is a necessity to keep the OT network and the IT network connected. Even though we connect these two network or not, there are several the weaknesses, I would say, the vulnerabilities exist with these technologies if it's not properly secure. So there is a landscape for hackers to, exploit it. So mainly when it comes to OT, it has become the OT systems threat landscape. It's become increasingly targeted to sophisticated cyber threats due to the critical role of managing the controlling industrial process. There is a potential target for people to exploit the bad people. So evolving almost like all the attack types which goes on the IT security also will be applicable for OT security as well. So mainly I would say the ransomware attacks. So ransomware attack also can be disrupt the operations and leading costly downtimes and potential safety hazards and high profile incidents such as the Colonial Pipeline attack, which is cost a lot for the organization to recover from those ransomware attacks. So it can be targeted on the infra on the OT technologies, and also supply chain management, supply chain attacks, mainly compromising the third party vendor devising to provide access to the OT systems, and from there they access through a malware, spreading the malware and taking out the OT network. One of the example would be the SolarWind attacks, which happen from a update patch, which has breached numerous organization OT systems. And also phishing and social engineering. Also, their employee can be tricked because if they are not given a proper understanding about how these security aspect and the proper handling of the protocols of these devices, the OT networks, also can be exploited by using a phishing or a social engineering. And also it comes with a zero-day exploit. Of course, all these vendors, they come up with there are new vulnerabilities maybe yet to discovered, so which call be the zero-day exploits. Also can be and also advanced persistent threats, which is a long-term attacks often conducted by the nationwide actors, highly skilled criminals. They try to exploit the OT network. So that is one of the aspect of, and also bringing the denial of services on the OT systems, overwhelming and changing the speeds of the system. So a certain aspect, and it become more threatened to or increase the risk of the people around it. And also insiders also can become a threat for this, because people doesn't know can have access to these OT system, also can be or dealing with or try to do malicious act on those devices if it's not properly secured. And also remote access vulnerabilities. So each they try to connect over the remote access. If the right privilege is not there, it can be exploited over a remote access vulnerability. And also the IoT and the IoT vulnerabilities itself, it's there along with these the attack vector for hackers to exploit. And also the manipulation of these control systems, which can be driven, overdriven the safety mechanism and disrupting the communication between devices and these things. So these are all, I would say, the attack landscape for the OT systems.
So, Raj, I mean, what I'm hearing from you is when you take a traditional data network, and I think there's a lot of emphasis in securing the data. And if
Correct.
you have a dedicated IT team, which is probably extends to a security team where a lot of discussions happen in terms of how you architect and how you secure that information, which is accessed throughout the network or even off network. But what we also know is most of these operations technology are maintained or managed by the engineers who are responsible for the production network. Right? So there's always this mindset, is IT superior than the manufacturing team, right? So there's always that conflict of thought process in terms of who would own it and who would manage it. So I see that in itself is a challenge, because for the engineers, it's about getting the production, meeting those production targets without any delay. So more in terms of ensuring availability is what they would be more concerned about. So whether there is attention paid to securing that information, the infrastructure, or ensuring reliability of that infrastructure may not be a top priority for them. So that is also a landscape which probably makes it a good ground for the bad actors to exploit. And
Correct.
as we speak, the famous case which I remember is the Colonial Pipeline incident, where this pipeline is in the east coast of the United States and which supplies oil or transports oil along the coast. So a hacker group by name DarkSide, who were based in the Eastern European countries, they were the ones who targeted this thing. And they brought the network down. So which means the complete supply of oil was disrupted. So the point, what Raj and I are trying to emphasize here is the threat is real. The threat actors are real. It does exist. Unless and otherwise we are paying attention to what is happening in your environment, you may not even know that the threat exists. Right? So with that thought, I would like to wrap this session in terms of talking about the current threat landscape. And when we come back, we would talk about the challenges in securing operations technology. I recall, Raj, you did briefly mention about the securing challenges or challenges faced in securing the operation technology. That was a point to lead us to the next point, right? So with that thought, we will close this session here and we will reassemble in the next episode. Thank you so much, Raj.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.